Hi, Marie.
Hello, Christelle.
We are live. And Marie, I want to tell you something. I went live probably about a year ago. I would do the show. I went live with women from across the globe, and it was an experiment and it was a blast. But coming back, you actually really inspired me just based on your fire and the fact that you're about to do a podcast. And I was like, you know what? I want to go live and I want to talk to Marie first.
Awesome.
So let's do this. Let's talk. And we've been talking about going live anyways, because we have to not apologize to the audience because we're going to embrace who we are. But Marie and I, when we get really excited, we get very loud.
Yeah, prepare yourselves.
We're two little women who are very passionate and loud.
Fireballs, man. Fireballs.
I'm so excited. So I'm going to do a little introduction on my friend Marie. This is going to be super casual. It might be passionate. We might cry. We might laugh. We just don't know. But we are going to we're going to tackle some interesting topics. And they're going to include gratitude, vulnerability, and shame. Okay. And this is going to be good because it's a topic that I think all women are passionate about. So let's do this. But Marie, I'm going to pronounce this wrong again. Marie is from Canada, the Kootenays. Say it better for me.
The Kootenays, yeah. That's good. That's good.
From Canada. And we have been friends for probably about a year now. I'm kind of guessing. And just clicked in the most fiery, passionate kind of ways. But Marie, introduce yourself for us. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. It started 45 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a pastor's wife who has deconstructed, and I have two boys. Me and my husband have been married for just over 25 years, together for 30. We are high school sweethearts. Let's see, our boys are 22 and 20. And we live at the very end of a very long dirt road that people often get lost on when they come to visit us. And I love Hello Kitty. I love love. I like relationships and meeting new people. And I love thinking. And I love, like, there's so many things that I love. I love music. I love dancing. I love costumes. And I love life.
You love, you know what, this makes me want to ask you because I love this question. I don't like to focus on what people do. And I kind of leave it out on purpose. Sometimes I'll include it, but it's the question of who are you? If you were to describe your heart, like who is Marie? What sets my soul on fire? Who's Marie?
Oh, wow. Did you want the G version or the PG version?
I mean, we can go PG-13.
Okay. Who is Marie? Okay, so Marie is somebody who, like, genuinely loves love. I love loving people. I love being loved. I love finding life around me and the love and the beauty around me, even in the most darkest moments. I love finding that divine essence of what love is. I love to have fun. Like, that is something that is very important to me. As a kid, I never had any fun. I had a really traumatic childhood. And all the things that bring light and life to our lives are really important to me. And I can see that they are very integral parts of who we are as people. So I love black. And I love white. I do love color now. I used to hate color. I love taking care of myself now. I never used to like that. Marie is a person who really believes in the humanity of people, regardless of age, race, sexuality, religion. I just love humans. I just love to see what humans, who they are and how they enjoy life and how they perceive things. And learning from them. What else? The more PG parts.
And you can air like a little 13-ish.
Okay, yeah. I am definitely a very kinky person. I have discovered that part of myself and embraced a lot of shadow parts within me. And this last year, I've spent a long time learning about what those shadow parts are and what that means for us as people. And I've embraced myself more than I ever have in my whole life. And I've kind of fallen in love with me, like of who I am. And in that helps me fall in love with other people more because I understand the breadth, depth, and essence of what it means for me to be present in my life. And I want that for others too. So.
And I've watched you see people. You are a lover that I learn from because you're so full of grace and kind of watching your journey as a pastor's wife, as a deconstructed pastor's wife, as someone who's fully embracing who you are. It's inspiring me. And so I know you must inspire many, many, many in that same way. So I love even kind of getting small glimpses of your journey. And when we get to even have conversations together via Zoom and that kind of thing, I want to get into the topic of vulnerability. And it may cross over with shame at the same time. I'm not sure, but I have watched you be very vulnerable in telling your story and in being who you are. Why is vulnerability important to you? What does that even mean for you? What does this word mean? I mean, it's such a hot topic. What is this word that everyone's talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So to me, vulnerability means to just be able to show yourself, to not have to hide, to just be who you are. And to me, that is super important because when we're like that, we invite others to come and be that too. And so when I first started sharing my story, I had some people say to me like, hey, you shouldn't be talking about those things, or you should be quiet about that stuff, or you're being too public about it, or, you know, things like that. And my first and foremost reaction and thought to that is, no, if I'm quiet about my story and my experiences and my hurt and pain and joy, then everybody else will be quiet too. What is the point of that? Because how are you going to connect with people when you're just constantly wearing a mask? So I took a lot of my masks off. I mean, being a pastor's wife, like, talk about wearing masks. You just wear masks all the time. And it's always about somebody else. It's always about looking after someone else's needs, and how good the church is going to look. And so for me to be able to take off all those masks of religion, to be able to just say, here, world, this is who I am. Some of you aren't going to like it, and that's okay, because I know who I am now, and I'm starting to really like her, and she's important. And I invite you in to be that too. I invite you in to show who you are to me, because I think you're just as important too. So if we're not entering that space of vulnerability, saying like, hey, these are our needs, these are my likes, dislikes, all those things, nobody else is going to either. So somebody has to start it. Somebody has to be that. And to those who don't like vulnerability, that's going to be really scary. And they're going to say, you shouldn't be doing that, right? They're going to try and shut that down. And that's okay. That just is showing where they're at. And you can hear them, but it doesn't mean you need to stop being vulnerable. Yeah.
I muted myself. Our friend Mike came on and said, religion has so many masks. Marie has done a phenomenal job at taking off those masks. I'm going to ask some maybe hard questions, and maybe they're not. Maybe you're used to getting asked them, but being vulnerable as a pastor's wife,
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that. Whatever direction you want to take this.
So like my husband's church, I'm going to start off by saying this. My husband's church is a really good church. Like
Mm-hmm.
he, in his ministry model, has displayed and tried to bring in a level of love and comfort for self and acceptance that the other churches in our area don't really have, at least the ones that I've had experience with. So with that said, as the pastor's wife coming in, for one, you wear all the hats of all the jobs that happen except for like music ministry, because I can't play an instrument or do the sound system. Like I can't, but so everyone's always coming to you when certain jobs aren't being done, like ministry or in nursery or the coffee bar or what's going on in the kitchen, or, hey, there's a funeral, we need the food. Oh, there's a wet, like there's just all these hats that you're just always wearing. Mm-hmm. And so you come in, and it's supposed to be a place where like you come in to meet with Jesus or to get filled up. And it's not that for ministry leaders, not just pastors' wives, but just ministry leaders. But then in particular, as the pastor's wife, you have to put on this mask of like, oh, everything's great. Jesus is working real well for us. Like, oh yeah, full of the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. Or also feeling like when you're down, you have no one to talk to, because a lot of the times the things that you're down about are the people in your midst, or the mask that you have to wear that nobody can see who you really are. Now in our church, I have pushed the envelope a little bit there, those boundaries of like, you know what? I love rock and roll. I love wearing black torn things. I love being edgy. I was not your typical pastor's wife. And I always said, when people would introduce me as that, hey, don't let that title get in the way of you seeing me. But it always did. It always did. There's always a really deep sense of loneliness that happens in ministry. And as I started to deconstruct, mm-hmm. and as I started to have questions and really struggle with certain issues, people just weren't even available for that to bounce like ideas off of in the very big, like years ago. Mm-hmm. People didn't understand. They were just stuck in their religious bubble. And then they would just give you the same religious, like, oh, God is bigger, God knows more, like, don't question, all those kind of things. And it's like, that's not working for me anymore. That's not, I'm a leader in this space, and I'm seeing people are hurting, and I'm seeing how some people are hurting other people. And actually this theology has really hurt me. Like it's really done some damage. And so I'm a leader, and I'm like, geez, how does this even work? This isn't working for me. So why am I going to continue wearing this mask of, oh, Jesus is all great, when he hasn't been, when the experience has been excruciatingly lonely, excruciating.
Yes. And has there been, or was there, because I think possibly there was a journey here, was there an element of shame attached to the beginning of your process, this whole process that you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, so we can start talking about purity culture. I mean, way back in the beginning of faith, or how, like, if you were friends with certain kinds of people, and if it wasn't gospel oriented, that you were trying to save them, that you just enjoyed those kind of people, there's shame attached to that. Or if you're not spiritual enough and you're not reading your Bible and praying enough, there's shame attached to that. There's shame attached to, hey, if you're not the right kind of woman and you don't please your husband the right way, there's shame attached. It's like constant shame, constant shame. And when I began to see how my relationship with religion was a block to relationship with other humans, that's when it really started to cut my soul and started to like really separate like my soul from life in general, because it is so important. Humans are so important to me. People, who they are, not what they do, not like that is so important to me. So then when I started to realize that religion had created this huge wedge between me and people, like I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, this has to change. I can't keep down this road.
No.
And I started to see more and more how much shame was involved in trying to make me wear the right kinds of masks, and to try and make me want to achieve to be the super Christian. And, you know, like, there's just always this level of like, you got to level up in your faith. And if you're not doing that, oh, what kind of Christian are you? Like, oh, that's a backslidden one, or we really should pray for that one. Like, that shame is such a destructive force.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
How do we heal from? I'm slowly asking these questions. And Tim is saying U.S. Christianity always seems a bit strange to me. Tim is from the U.K. Tim, just so you know, Marie's actually from Canada. And maybe
we still love the Queen, though.
Yeah, she still honors the Queen. Or wait, the Queen did not meet me at the airport, FYI, when I was in the UK. I was
what the hell? Oh man, she missed out.
No tea party for me, nothing.
Her loss.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll get into the difference in Canada and America. That's like a whole other subject, I think. But let's continue talking about what we're talking about. And I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question, but
just ask.
It's always a healing process. It's always a journey. Do we overcome shame? How do we overcome shame? Is that we're being willing to be vulnerable comes into this.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, vulnerability is the first step, because you have to be able to be vulnerable, to take the masks off and say, this is too painful. This is too much. I can't do that. Once you can do that, now that the masks are off, you can start to look in the mirror and say, who are you? Like, as a person, as a human, who are you? And most times when you're coming out of religious spaces, you don't know, because you have taken on who they told you were, right? And so who are you? What do you like? What are your dislikes? How about the trauma that you've lived through? Like, and how religion has tried to stuff that down and spiritually bypass so much of it. So starting to be vulnerable, then you can discover yourself, right? That inner space within you, that core self that is the essence of who you are, and where trauma doesn't live, because we all have that. And all the rest of the pieces of us, all the other little selves, are pieces of trauma that have happened in our past. And once we learn to discover this core part of us and be okay with who we are, we can see that in others, and we can do that for others. But the world and religion often doesn't let people do that, right? So there's this metric that people still have to live under. You have to be the certain way. You have to, like, living under the law, right? Like, that's in Christian terms, we would say. Subscribing to all these rights and wrongs, and which obviously we want to be, we don't want to hurt people and harm people, right? But within that, there's no freedom to see who you are. And so when you're vulnerable enough to recognize that we're all different, we're all unique, we all have needs, we all have desires, we all have trauma, that we need to have healed and learn to connect with, when we can be vulnerable and do that, we can discover that part of ourselves and be strong in that part of ourselves and mature in that part of ourselves. So then when we have triggers in life and are faced with more trauma, we're able to synthesize that better. We're able to say, hey, I'm hurting. Like, this hurts me. And this is why. Or we're able to stop and say, like, to recognize the hurt in others and to sit with them and be emotionally intelligent with them, right? Like the emotional intelligence of recognizing self within and the other parts of you that are reacting and blending with that self, the emotional intelligence to see that, understand what's happening, but then to also see that in others and to recognize what's happening in others. And that to me is like the bridge of love, right? Like, because you have to understand yourself to be able to understand another. And in that, the bridge of love is built. And then you can walk back and forth on it, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I have so much happening in my ADHD brain. Mike said, shame says there is something wrong with you. Are you able to put the quotes up here?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
He says, shame says there is something wrong with you. Christianity always reinforces that by saying, God finds something wrong with you. And shame is built into that system. This is what I think so many of us are on a path of trying to shake down, because we grew up hearing lyrics like, I'm so unlovable, and yet, you know what? Thank you, God, for loving me, despite how horrible, despicable I am. When I started actually listening to the lyrics, I was singing and realizing that, oh my word, I'm actually singing abusive words. What? It was part of my great awakening, if you want to call it that. That's a weird term, but why am I letting myself be abused by, and in that, and all those things that we memorized, all those terms that we memorized, all those answers that we knew, it kind of started shaking off and shaking me up, I think, much in the same way as you, because wait a minute, if I go through therapy, if I am trying to heal from other people who have said these things about me, why am I allowing a God just wait a minute?
What is this line of perfection that we have to reach? Like, what is this? It's a false image. It's a glass ceiling. It's like, there's so many, like, the whole idea that, like, I need saving from myself is so toxic. It's so, because that if you need saving from yourself, what is it that's going to call you to, like, stand up and be better? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no, we need to learn how to be better humans, to honor each other and to not hurt each other. We don't need a scapegoat because we keep hurting each other. We need to stop hurting each other.
Who or what has the divine become for you, if anything?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. So I still believe in God. I don't know what God is. I don't need to put a label on what I think that is. I have experiences every day, and I do meditation time way more than I used to, where this divine element, I think, that is within us and is all interconnected in the universe, this energy, is a reflection of ourselves. It's the truest form of ourself that wants to integrate all of us into a holistic sense of love. It is in everybody, and it's a space that we can access within ourselves and without, like, on the outside, without ourselves. So, you know, some of us, when we go outside, we experience this otherworldly connection to something else in a beautiful way. Some of us do that through meditation. Some of us do that through art, through music. There's so many expressions of love. And that's what I like to call God, actually. I don't really like the word God anymore, but I like the word love, because that word encompasses so much beauty and so much goodness, but also so much reality of our experience. Because within love, there is pain, right? Within love, there is the experience of not being seen, because love wants to be seen. Love stands there and is ready all the time to love. And when it's not seen, that's a painful experience. And so I like to use the word love, actually, for what I think the divine is now, because I feel like it encompasses everything, and it has no need for perfection. It has no need to change you into what somebody else thinks you should be. It's just present. It's just with you, and it's the best friend on your journey. It's the person that never leaves. Yeah, I could talk about love forever.
Let's do it. I was thinking of a couple of things when you were saying this, and I was like, you know what? I had this image in my head as you were describing this of almost someone standing there in the fire, and love is one's most vulnerable state, perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. It is, because you're standing there naked, and you're saying, this is me. And you're hoping that the other will see it and say, that is beautiful. Yes, that is you. And I love that. That's beautiful. In all its imperfections, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change to fit some standard. You know, love is the thing that is around us all the time that says, you are perfect the way you are. So it's a different kind of perfect. It's a non-striving. It's that thing that just says, you're okay. You're okay. Life is painful. Life is joyful. This experience that we have together as humans, you're okay.
So love is vulnerable. Love is naked. I mean, if we believe that the divine is love, we're saying basically the divine is vulnerable, the divine is naked.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sometimes I wonder, Marie, and I want to hear your answer to this. Sometimes I wonder if we humans not having or being able to fully describe who or what the divine is, we've attached words and terms to it the best way we knew how. And we were trying to describe this vulnerable, naked state of what the world is and what we find in the world. And we decided to call it love or God at some point, excuse me.
For sure.
That's what it kind of became. And then we attached all these things to it. But if we can go back to, can we start re-describing what the spirit of love is?
Oh yeah, I think we're doing it every day. It's just there's much of religion that gets in the way of that, because there's this propensity to want to control, to want to say, like, no, this is how it should be. It's like, you know, like so like in the Christian worldview, you know, there's the Garden of Eden, and humans ate the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and really, like, you could say, like, that is really where the problem started I mean, I don't believe in that anymore, but as a picture, as a metaphor, to say like the humans that only care about knowing more and setting a standard of perfection are always the ones that seem to be hurting the others, the ones that just want to exist and live. It's this thing where we're focused on the wrong thing. It's a focus that takes away from the vulnerability of self and puts it on striving to fit into a system that is designed to support itself and not the people within the system. I think every day we're redefining what the divine is, and we're discovering new facets of love, and I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I think it's like, as you know, you're peeling the onion, or like whatever other like thing out there, that picture you want to use to say like there's just so many levels, that to say like, oh no, this is always how it is just so ignorant to me, because then you're saying no, love only performs this way, or love only shows itself this way, when, you know, from the gutters of Calcutta, love showed itself through a little woman, to, you know, the streets in Vancouver, where love is showing itself to those who have been oppressed by society and who've lived seriously traumatic lives, to like really in the echelons of power, where people are lonely and people are just dying to be seen, but their money covers them up and their money masks them, to the people in religion, to the leaders of religion who think that they know it all, or think that this is how you save people. Who are you to say that someone needs saving? Like, there's this idea that love is only one certain thing, but love shows itself in so many different ways, and everyone's experience is so different. And this, I think this is the point, actually. Now that I'm talking and I'm coming, like, everybody has such a different experience in life. All of our trauma is so different to all of us. So we're seeing and experiencing the world through these lenses. Of course, love is going to show itself differently to so many people. Of course, it's going to be like a kaleidoscope and rainbow for all of us, where we see love in this and we see love in that, and others won't see it. And that's the beauty of love. And that's the beauty of the divine. It doesn't need to be pinned down to one certain thing. It doesn't need to.
we don't have to have answers.
Yeah, you don't have to have answers.
We don't. Do you get excited about questions more than answers?
Yes, yes, because my brain loves the answers too, though. Like, because I want to walk over that bridge of like, okay, why does that matter to that? And then, oh, how do we get there? And then, oh, wow, it seems like there's like a whole bunch to unpack there. And it's this constant journey of, we think we're going to get to the end of something, but there is no end.
When there's more to know. When there's more like questions.
There's just more. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And seeing things through different ways. Like, I love philosophy, and I love, here's a confession. The only thing I don't love is math. I just can't do numbers. I just can't do numbers. I'm like,
Marie, you're speaking a language. Do you know I have dyscalculia? I don't know how to say it, but it's like dyslexia except math.
I am dyscalculia. I'm like, oh my God, you just start saying numbers, and I'm just like, I'm out. I don't care. I'm out. I don't.
What are you saying? I've had to tell people, you don't understand. Like, when you start saying numbers, it feels like you're speaking another language. And I love languages, but my brain does not process. Hi, whoever's.
Okay, I just want to say, my husband just brought me bacon.
Oh,
he just brought me bacon. This man is amazing. I'll wait to eat it.
You don't
actually.
You know,
No,
you
I
can
think
eat some.
see, I love. This is one thing I love.
He like opened the door and came out and handed you bacon. That is,
Kool-Aid and bacon. That's love.
I saw the door open. So Tim said we don't live long enough to have all the answers or even all the questions. Yes.
Yeah, but think about that too. Like, isn't that amazing? Because I mean, we don't know what's beyond. We can't even speculate. Like, why even like? But we don't even live long enough. There's so many answers. There's so many questions. It's just like a scavenger hunt, and each time it's a prize, and each thing you find is like, wow, that's amazing.
It's like a treasure.
We don't even live long enough to figure it all out. So why are we perpetuating systems of harm and shame and that cause so much grief and mask our trauma and tell us that, oh, that's healing? What like, why are we doing that? And I think that is the biggest fire in my belly is that when systems harm people, when facets of religion really just harm people and traumatize them even more, and as it traumatizes them, tells them we're healing you.
Yeah.
I cannot. Everything within me wants to burn that down. Everything. Yeah. And I will spend the rest of my life. I spent 25 years in ministry building up toxic spaces in some ways and supporting things like that. I'll spend the next, hopefully 50, burning it down.
How do we get past shame in whatever capacity it is, for whatever reason? And I want to speak specifically to women, though I do know men carry shame as well. But my heart right now, at least now, is for women who were like me, who grew up in spaces like me.
Yep.
How do we shed those layers of shame, Marie?
Oh my gosh. That's a huge question. And part of it for me, I mean, I can't speak to like a general shame shedding because I think it means something different to everybody. And part of it for me meant getting in touch with myself, really probably touching myself too. I don't know.
What is that? There's a song. What is the song? It's not
the by the Divine Divinals or Madonna. Oh, she has a lot of touching songs.
I think it might be Madonna. Okay.
She by the way is my hero. I love Madonna.
Is she? You know, my son's girlfriend dressed up as Madonna for Halloween.
I saw that. That's awesome.
And I thought of you actually because it was the cute little outfit. I was like,
yeah,
something Marie would wear. It's so funny.
Yeah, I love Madonna, but shedding shame, it's going to mean something different for everybody, I think. For me, that meant unhooking from religion, and it meant embracing myself. And I still struggle with lots of things that I feel like are shadows of shame within me. That I think that because we live in a culture also that has this same kind of logic that religion does, that you have to be a certain way to be appealing and pleasing. And so I'll still struggle with shadows of shame. We all will. But are you allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good. Part of it is not giving a fuck. Like, honestly, it's like, this is who I am. This is my body. It's not thin. She's chubby like a cherub, but she's sexy, and embracing that, embracing my personality and saying, yeah, it's not going to be for everybody. And that's okay. I think that starting to walk in who I am and being okay with it and recognizing when people reject that, that's their thing. It's not mine. And the people pleasing aspect of that, of like wanting to hide and cover up and appease people, that part of me is very much changed. And that, I think, has probably been the biggest thing that has helped me shed a lot of the shame that I carried. Was that here I am, world. You know, I'm going to be as vulnerable as I want to be. Some of you are going to stomp on me, and I'm just going to get right back up because I'm strong enough. And I've got sisters around me like you who encourage me. And we're not alone. And if I stand up, someone else is going to stand up. And if someone stomps on me, well, that's unfortunate, and that's sad, but that's their thing. Yeah, it will hurt, but that's their thing. It has nothing to do with me. And I think that is the key to remember, is that this is one of my favorite sayings now is, you do you. Like, just, I mean, sometimes literally you might need to do you, but you do you, and I'll do me. Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah. I'm okay as I am. Again, I had because I think in pictures. I only think in pictures. When people talk, I'm creating pictures in my head, right?
So I do that too.
Of course you do.
Yes.
You only think in pictures.
I think we're related.
Yeah. We're creating, you know who else does this? Is our friend, I believe, Mike. I might be mistaken, but I'm almost positive Mike said he thinks in pictures too. So like when people are talking, I only see pictures, and I'm having to like interpret what I'm seeing in my head. So it's like a double.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of energy.
Yeah. It's like a double. No wonder we're tired.
We're not kidding.
Mike said this is true. Okay. So he thinks in pictures too. So we're having to double interpret everything. Oh, Tim said visual.
And the pictures.
Tim said
the pictures have. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and the pictures have emotions that go with them.
Yes.
It's not just a picture. There's emotions that go with them.
Absolutely. Tim said actually visual thinking is the most common type, I think. So we're not that uncommon. It's everyone's thinking in pictures.
We're still superheroes.
Superheroes. I had this, like the picture I was seeing as you were describing this was a woman standing in the fire because Marie, I know you've come from ashes into like this blazing, passionate fireball of like from ashes into a fireball, speaking your love. And I just saw you saying, I am here. I am love. That's who I am.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. But you also say, and you're so loud about, but you're love too. As you being love, if you can't love me as I am, you're allowed to go stand over there. Go stand over there, but let me be love here.
Yes.
As I am.
Yes. Yes. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Don't try to stifle someone else's love. Don't try to like color in their lines the black color you think is appropriate. Don't try to piss on their parade. Someone's enjoying something and it's not causing anyone harm.
Yeah.
Let them have the party. Like, stop and think outside the box for a second how that is for them and that it's okay. Yeah.
So here you're saying you're kicking boxes down and you're standing in the blaze and you're going to scream. What is your message, Marie? What is your message to women?
My message to women?
Yeah.
Sister, you are sexy as fuck. Okay? No, like I'm not even like, I don't care what size you are. I don't care what hair color you are. I don't care how white your teeth are. I don't care where you come from. You are gorgeous. You are beautiful. You are smart. You're intelligent. You are worth so much more than you will ever even realize. And your creativity and your movement in this world brings a level and I've lost the word, like a color of love that nobody else can. So you have to do you. You have to be you, because that's how it was supposed to be. I think like That's how love gets magnified, and that's how it spirals up. And we can get caught in the spiral that goes down, but love can't magnify that way. And so women, you are amazing. And I 100% think women should rule the world. 100%.
Yeah.
So start ruling.
Ruling.
Don't let men walk on you. Don't let other women walk on you. And like, that meme says, let's fix each other's crowns. We're all queens. We're all goddesses. We all move and manifest love in beautiful ways. Let's keep doing it. And when others aren't doing it, call that shit out. Like, enough. Stop stifling love. Stop stifling creativity. Call it out. Is that fiery enough?
It's fiery.
I can keep going.
It's fiery. Call it out. It's so true. Call it out. I used to not call things out. Now I either turn away or I say enough, because you know what? Once you walk a certain path, there comes a point where you're like, I am not dealing with this bullshit anymore.
Absolutely.
It's not happening.
Yep.
How can we see, maybe healing is the wrong word. How do we see a powerful remnants? Is that the word I'm looking? How do we see a powerful, amazing group of women rise up into their proper place and authority? I think you know where I'm going with this. How do we do this? How do we start seeing, I guess I'll use the word healed women across the entire planet? And what does that look like? And what does that mean?
Well, it starts by understanding yourself. Again, it really does. It comes back to understanding yourself so that you can understand the other. And when we can start doing that, and we can start being vulnerable with ourselves and start to understand the other while calling that shit out that harms the other, I think that helps unite us, because then we start to really see each other. And when love is seen, when it's really seen, it shines so bright. It just shines so bright. And we can't see it until we can see it within ourselves. And when we can see it within ourselves, not compared to other people, just truly what's in ourselves, then we can help the other see it too.
I love that. Okay, Marie, we're going to have to close down. We're going to end. Okay. What is your final thought for woman watching? And I want to say thanks to Tim and Mike. And we had 2 Tims on today, actually, for commenting, because though our message is to women, we have men watching and actually giving really
awesome,
amazing comments. And I love it. Mike said no.
Hey, and that's, you know what, that's something that is very important, actually, is the men around us have to stand up. The men around us have to stop accepting what religion and culture says about women. They have to start speaking too and saying, hey, that's not okay. That's not good. That harms people. Don't do that. Like, we have to have allies in our men.
Absolutely. As well, here's something interesting, because as moms of boys, you and I are both moms of boys. Yeah. One of the things that has been challenging for me is, one, being such a woman empowering type person, but also having boys and knowing that I also don't want women tearing down my boys. So at what point do we have this like beautiful gathering of men and women as equals? And when men show up to spaces like this, I think that's powerful. And when they're willing to listen, I think that's powerful. And that's the process.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I always taught my boys that the honest to goodness. And when I think it was like when they were maybe 8 years old or something, when they became old enough to understand the word asshole, I said, whatever you like, I don't care where you go, what you become, whatever you do, just don't be an asshole. that was my parenting advice. And I said it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Honestly, whatever you do, just don't be an asshole. There's no reason to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And so that applies to men and women.
Absolutely.
And my boys, they have a strong mom, like strong personality, and they're super kind boys. They treat women really well. They are thoughtful. I'm not saying it just because they're my boys. And I've seen opportunity that they've had, and they're just super conscientious that women are important too, and they're not to be controlled, that they're their own person, and consent means everything for them and for women. It goes both ways. It's not just for one, it's for both.
And though this message is for women, because again, that's my heart and passion. Mike just said this is an amazing discussion, and all men need to hear this. I think we're going to sign out because I just lost my train of thought, which is such an ADHD. Cut off. There. I want to shut down with just don't be an asshole, right?
Yep. Just don't be an asshole. There's no reason to be. There's no reason to be. It's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And that looks different for everyone, I think.
It looks different for everybody. Yeah.
I love it. Marie, this has been so fun.
Thanks so much, Christelle. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Can we light some more? Can we light some shit up, Marie?
Oh, we will. So I'm going to start my podcast soon, and my podcast is called The Love Cartel.
Yes.
Yes, and the word cartel. Yes, I know it's a
on purpose. No,
but it's on purpose. It's like, hey, join my mission, join my tribe to take over the world with love. Like let's deal it in the back alley. Let's deal it like in all the dark spaces. Let's light the world up.
Let's set some shit on fire. I meant to ask you about this, so thank you for reminding me. Your podcast is coming out when?
Well, in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
I've never done a podcast on technology challenge, and so I'm going to be spending some time today and then in the next few days figuring that out. But I'm really excited about that, and I'm going to do it very similar to how you do it. Like let's just talk. Let's hear people's stories and figure some shit out.
I love it. So it's called The Love Cartel. Did I get that?
Cartel? The Love Cartel.
The Love
in the next few weeks.
I feel like guests should come on wearing gangster.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Or at least I could dress up gangster. Like, hey, bitches.
Thank you,
Christelle.
And this was amazing. Thank you to everyone watching.
So awesome.
See you next time. Bye.